I was about 16, 24, 9, 2, 3, I don't know, what's your problem, right? I couldn't decide whether to have the straight, tidy hair of a mod or whether I should have the spiky, untidy hair of a punk. And in the end, I compromised, shaved the top of my head and became a monk. And it's quite funny, even if I say so myself, because as a result of this, right, I started up my own youth movement, right? We were called the Brothers. We were well Larry. And every bank holiday Monday, there'd be a big gang of us. We'd all pile down to Brighton. There'd be a big posse of us, right, going along the seafront, looking for violence. Oh, come on over here if you think you're hard enough. Of course, we used to get the shit kicked out of us, but we always had the last laugh because we'd forgive them. Now, about 5 years ago, or was it 7? No, it was 5. Why did I think it was 7? I started seeing various psychiatrists, and it was very unsettling because I'd be on the toilet in the supermarket, and there'd be a psychiatrist. I thought, I'm going mad. I thought I'd better go and see a psychiatrist, so I did. He said, what's the problem? I said, well, I keep seeing psychiatrists that aren't really there. And he said, well, that's very serious. And I said, well, what shall I do? He said, well, what do you want to do? He said, you want to go and see a psychiatrist that really is there. And I said, well, are you not? And he said, no. He said, I'm just a symptom of your unease. And off he went. I'm going to go see a psychiatrist. So I did. And I said, what's the problem? I said, well, I keep seeing psychiatrists that aren't really there. And he said, that is weird. He said, because I keep seeing patients that aren't really there. And I said, do you? And he said, what happened to your voice then? I said, I was just very surprised. And so I said, are you real then? He said, yeah. He said, I'm real as day. And I was so relieved, you know. And he said to me, are you real? And I said, no. And of course I was, but we all need that little feeling of revenge every now and then. Anyway, when I was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2001, just before I was born, doesn't matter, I used to be a housebreaker. But here's the little twist. I never actually used to steal anything, right? What I'd do is I would go to the house that I was going to break into. I'd look in through the living room window, make sure they had a video recorder. If they had a video recorder, fantastic, the job was on. Very important, because I'd be leaving them a tape. I would then go home, and I'd get a video camera and a live goat. And I'd go to the house that I was going to break into. I'd wait outside, wait until they'd gone out. And then when they'd gone out, I'd go into the house, and I would film myself sitting on the settee in the living room of the house that I'd broken into next to the goat. I would be completely naked, apart from thigh-length pink PVC boots. The goat would be daubed with fluorescent paint with a big orange top hat on. And then I'd look into the camera and I'd say, whenever you're out, me and Robin live here.
When I was 6 years old, myself and a fella called Mark Jones decided that we were going to teach each other how to kiss. We were only 6, and he was staying in my house for the weekend, and both of us were sharing the same bed. Like you can do when you're 6 and there's no hidden agenda. And it was really late. It was about 8:15 or something. And I was lying there in me Thomas the Tank Engine pyjamas. He was lying there in leather. And he was really big for 6. And he drove a truck. Which is kind of unusual for a Catholic priest. He was 6 as well, and he was lying there in his Rupert the Bear pyjamas, and we were talking about omelettes and rockets, and then he said, Tommy, and I said, what? And he said, do you know how to kiss? And I went, yeah. And he said, let's do it. And I said, okay, because I'm easy. So we kissed 2 little boys from rural Ireland, as if that makes a difference. Like this, eyes open, and I was fine. Very innocent. And then he said, Tommy. I said, what? He said, do you know how to French kiss? I said, no. And he said, I'll show you. So he showed me on his arm. And then he said, let's do it. And I said, okay. because I kind of enjoyed the first one. So we French kissed. Two little boys from rural Ireland. Like this, eyes wide. For about an hour and a half. And it was fine, and we were really close up until the age of about 10 when we had to be separated by the vet. And we spent our whole adolescence fighting and not talking to each other, and we were enemies for such a really long time. And I met him again recently in a bar at home. And for some strange reason, both of us knew that both of us were thinking about the night of the kiss. It was hanging above us like a large poo. Kind of going, deal with me, because if you don't, I'll stink up the whole room. So I really wanted to be friends with him again, and, you know, because it's stupid to be enemies after all these years. So we got really drunk, and after about 99 pints, he turned to me in that old, familiar way. And he said, Tommy. I said, what? He said, do you remember that time? And he was laughing. He says, do you remember that time when we were 6 and we were kissing? And I was laughing as well. And I said, nope.
Now, I've just recovered from an operation to put a magnet inside my head, so I can sprinkle iron filings on the top to make it look like I have realistic hair. But unfortunately, when I'm on the bus, annoying school children come up behind me with their magnets and rearrange my hair in unusual patterns. On the subject of genital piercing, I like it, but I'm not sure about the pain, so I got ClipOns. Now, I live in a nice flat. Within a few seconds, you're in the garden after you've plummeted 40 stories to your doom. But you know, my wife of 11 years, and that's quite old for a Filipino. We were married in a toilet. It was a marriage of convenience. And I think she's been unfaithful to me because I saw her standing in King's Cross holding up a placard saying, "Coach parties welcome."
I'll tell you something, right? It's my birthday next month. I'll be 37. Oh, you believe me? No, because you always know when you're a woman when you're getting older because you get fallout. Do you know what I'm talking about? I think some of you might. What happens with fallout, right? You have a bath, you get dried, you get dressed. 25 minutes later, there's a sudden gush and a torrent of soapy water comes falling out of my fanny. What is going on with my snatch, for heaven's sake? Every time I sneeze, I wet my pants, you know. So here I am, mid-30s. Apparently, I'm at my sexual peak. Oh, typical. You reach your sexual peak just when your arse starts trailing across the floor. Come on, arse, keep up, keep up. I don't go through a revolving door these days, I tell you. And to make it worse, right, I've got the big C. That's right, I've got cellulite. Now, nothing wrong with that. It's just nature's way of telling you to stop wearing hot pants. It's been around forever, cellulite. Because if you go in all those art galleries, look at the old paintings, those naked ladies, they're riddled with it, aren't they? That Rubens, he painted some fat, ugly birds, didn't he? And then he gave them titles like 3 Nymphs Round a Pond. Nymphs? Nymphs? There's not one of them under 15 fucking stone, you know? No wonder they're all stood round the pond. They couldn't get in all together. They'd have to go in one at a time. Should have called it 3 sofas round a puddle, mate, you know. But What pisses me off about cellulite, only women get it, it's another biblical curse, and we really mind about getting fat. I chubbed out once, so I had a tapeworm inserted. Because women panic and do stupid things like use laxatives. You can always spot women on laxatives. Skinny birds smell of shit. It's the only thing that supermodels ever eat. You know, that's why they walk funny, because their arses and stuff. They've got to be very careful with laxatives, because they can backfire. Literally. So if you're going to use laxatives, take precautions. Wear brown tights and stand downwind, you know. Men don't care about getting fat, do they? They think it's funny. You go on the beach, loads of fat blokes falling through deck chairs, because that's what they do, and they just laugh it off, wobble it off, go and get some more chips. That's fantastic, isn't it? You know, I love fat blokes. I went out with one once. Oh, he was fat. I thought he was twins at first. I'm talking fat, you know, half man, half bouncy castle. Great fat hands, great fat fingers, like 5 cocks on each hand. The sex was fantastic. He'd be screwing me, I'd be feeding him cakes. It was an odd mixture of making love and stoking the boiler, you know. Happy days with Puffing Billy. He's dead now.